universal charging system. We also have our protruding 16 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization and 4K video recording, and we have our heart rate monitor and LED flash. Now, although the display is curved, it's pretty much identical to the standard GS6. It's 5.1 inches Super AMOLED QHD resolution, so that gives us a resolution of 1440 by 2560, good for 577 pixels per inch. That's a lot of resolution to work with. Now, there are slight differences to the measurements of the GS6 to the GS6 Edge. The Edge is slightly shorter, 142.1 millimeters versus 143.4. It's slightly narrower at 70.1 millimeters versus 70.5 millimeters, and it's slightly thicker, 7 millimeters instead of 6.8 millimeters. Now, the battery in the Edge is slightly larger, 2600 milliamp hours versus 2550 in the standard GS6. Now, if you look along the right-hand side, the volume controls are in the same place, but the ones on the Edge are a bit narrower. That's the same story with the power button along the right-hand side. Again, a slightly narrower button, and you can see the SIM tray has been relocated from right below the power button on the standard GS6 to the top on the GS6 Edge. Taking a look at the top here, you can see the microphone has been moved slightly, but otherwise everything is in the right location. And toward the bottom, basically everything is in the same location. Also, if you look at the back, basically identical, the only difference is the branding. Now, there are some other subtle design differences between the GS6 and the GS6 Edge. So if you look at the metal frame on the standard GS6, it kind of comes to a ridge along the middle here, as opposed to the flatter design of the GS6 Edge. The S6 Edge also has a little more prominent chamfered edge to the metal frame, which I think looks a little bit better. Now, there are some software tweaks from the standard GS6, and you'll find it under settings, specifically quick settings. So we have Edge lighting, we have People Edge, information stream, and night clock. So let's talk about People Edge. Now, People Edge actually appears as a small tab on either the left-hand or right-hand side, and you can swipe in from the Edge to bring up your contacts. So you get 5 contacts you can assign to these little badges here. So I can go right here to add a new contact from my existing contacts. Now, this basically allows me to quickly access these contacts. So I can just tap on them to message them, email them, or place a phone call. Now, you can rearrange these, you can move them around or remove them. You can also go up to settings here. It takes you to the control panel for controlling these settings. So you can see My People here, so you can assign them from here as well. You can also have it alert you when picking up the phone. So if you have a pending contact from one of these assigned contacts, you'll actually get this little notification that pops up on your lock screen that tells you which contact came up, and then you can swipe in from the Edge to quickly access them. Of course, you can also completely turn this off, so that little tab along the side will completely disappear. Now, if you have a pending notification from any one of these contacts, you actually get this little color keyed tab that you can swipe on to quickly access them. So you can either place a phone call, send an email, or place a message. We also have Edge lighting. This actually corresponds with the assigned contacts under People Edge. So what will happen here is that if your phone is facing face down, you actually see that the side of the phone will strobe in the color that's assigned to that contact. So in my case, it's orange, so it strobes in orange, but one of the other contacts might be purple, blue, pink, or whatever, and that will strobe just to indicate the corresponding contact. Now, let's